Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm Timmy B, host of the Fight Insight podcast, joined, of course, by my friend and co-host, Brian Bam Bam Barberina.
Let's go, Timmy B. Hit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fight Insight podcast.
The intro
All right.
is growing on me more and more.
Is it?
Yeah, I really like this one. Yeah, I like it a lot.
I always have to lower the volume a little bit because it comes in really loud. So by the time I lower it. All right, here we go. Our guest today made her announcing debut at this past weekend's All Heart Promotions Rival Series Fight Night. It was a boxing event where she also pulled double duty, Bam Bam, as the commentator for the event. She's a syndicate MMA trained MMA fighter. She's a BJJ competitor who just competed, I think, the week prior as well. She's now looking to parlay her skills inside the cage to a career cage side. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Destiny My Time McCubbin.
Hi, thank you.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
Welcome.
What's going on?
Thanks for having me on.
Destiny My Time McCubbin. It is very good to have you here because Bam Bam, she's soon going to be way too popular to come on our show.
No, never.
It's going to happen. Don't lie. So, Destiny McCubbin, MMA fighter, amateur MMA fighter, BJJ competitor, which I saw you were just competing 2 weekends ago as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes.
Very, very cool. Still kicking butt there.
It's been a very busy couple weeks.
Yeah, very busy. But look, you make your announcing debut, which is crazy. I talked to you on millions.co. So guys, go check out that interview as well if you want to see before the event how she was feeling. But Destiny, it's all said and done now. How are you feeling after the event?
Oh man, I had the time of my life. I didn't expect to love it that much, honestly. It just felt so comfortable and I was very prepared. I had a lot of people that helped me get ready. So I came very prepared and it just all came together. Once I got there, once I got going, once I first spoke on the mic, got those nerves out a little bit. I was just, I belonged there, honestly. I really felt like I did. Yeah, I loved it. I had the greatest time. The fights were amazing. The fighters, Monica DiCarlo put on such an amazing show. Great matchmaking by her. Really well done. The fighters were all great. Every fight was a banger, and they all left it in the ring. There was not one fight that you were just, disappointed about. They were all amazing. It was an honor to call those fights.
That's awesome. Now, this was not your commentating debut, though. You've commentated before.
Yes.
So you've done that role before, and we'll talk about that because, as you know, I'm commentating for Fight League Atlantic, and so I want to learn from you. But for the announcing aspect of it, man, that is crazy because your chops have got to be ready for that. You've got to be screaming out the names. You told me something that happened before the event, though.
Yes. Okay. I could talk about it now that it's all said and done and over. But Monday morning, week of fight week, I woke up with a little tickle in my throat, I was like, I'm just gonna ignore it. I don't want to put no energy on this. I don't even want to. Yeah. I still sound a little weird, but I didn't want to put any energy on it. I was like, I'm just gonna ignore it. I don't want it to, gonna act like it's not there. But no, it did its thing and it ran its course. And by Tuesday, I was feeling pretty down. I still got up, went and trained. I was still trying to ignore it. I was still just hoping it was going to disappear. And by Tuesday night, I was pretty down bad. Like my voice was starting to go. I was panicking. I'm texting my mentor, Justin Bernard, who helped me prepare for this. He announces for Tough Enough and The Slap with UFC. So he's great. And he's like, I've been here, he's telling me all the tips and tricks to handle this. So I was doing cough drops and drinking tea and taking medicine on the hour that I was allowed to. I was just freaking out. I was like, but it's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. I Googled what do singers do for their throat. And so I found this spray. I ordered this spray immediately and I was just spraying that into my throat. But by time, so I get to Utah Thursday and I didn't want to tell anybody, I was like, cause I didn't want anybody's negative comments or anything to also make it worse. So I was like, I'm just not going to tell anybody, but I felt like crap. I was just so down, but like I was able to mask that with, some makeup and smile.
Yeah.
I get to the weigh-ins and I'm like, as soon as I get there, the lady's like, "Can I get you anything?" I'm like, "Hot water, please. Hot water and lemon, please." Yeah. And then just like talking to the fighters and stuff, I wanted to not talk as much as I could, like save my voice, But that day I was obviously having to speak to people. And then Thursday night, I was pretty bad. The night before the fight was probably the worst. Like I got home to my mom's and I just was so sick. I took medicine about 9 p.m., slept probably 12 hours, woke up fight day feeling a little better. And then by the grace of God, right before the fight started, I just cleared up. And the entire night of the fight, I was great. And then after the fight, I lost my voice.
Yeah, you went back to dying. Yeah, that's the way. That's happened to me before. The last event that I commentated at, the whole week and a half before, my wife is dying sick. And I'm like, oh no, like I'm going to catch this. I'm going to be dead for the event. And then I'm just like, same as you, I'm just ignoring it, just pretending it's not happening. I went to the event, did the event, and literally like the next day I was just like that was it, like game over. And I was like, thank goodness.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I was freaking out. I was like, there's no way. I was like, I'm not pulling out on them. I'm not doing that. I'm not pulling out on myself. I'm not, I'm like, this is going to work. I was just praying all the whole time. Like, come on, God, please let me just get through this. Yeah. And I did, so.
Well,
I think and then chalk that up to the fighter in you, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, like I'm going to get through this. We're going to tough it out. It's going to pass. And then, the night of the show, you went in there and performed. You did what you got to do. And then after, you worried about everything else.
If you know my career at all, then you know that I faced a ton of adversity throughout my fighting career and like crazy injuries and stuff. And so the night before, I'm like laying there in bed. I'm just looking at my mom and she's looking at me and she's not saying anything, but I just was like, oh, it wouldn't be me if there was an adversity, right? I don't know. So, but like you said, we always rise to the occasion. So,
yeah.
Well, that's funny because I did have a question from someone who is a manager, Nick Curry. I don't know if you know him, but he's a good friend of yours?
Yes.
That guy is a good dude. I really like this guy. We talk quite a bit on Instagram. He asked, how bad did the itch to get back into the ring feel on that night?
You know what? Actually, I thought that it would be definitely like have me want to get in there, but I was like, I like this side. I like this side of things.
Nice.
And sometimes I'm watching these fights and I'm like, gosh, like I did this. I do this. I've done this stuff. Like, it's so crazy, like being on the other end. And it's just, and then obviously I'm right there and I'm like sweat. I'm so close. I'm getting sweat on me, like from the fighters. Like, but to be honest, actually, no, I didn't really get that too much.
Right.
Yeah. How has it been since you fought?
I haven't fought since 2022.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not that long.
That's not long. Yeah.
And she's still in the game. She's still around, still training, still competing.
I think after competing in the jiu-jitsu tournament recently, that kind of got me thinking about it. And of course, I think about it. And I honestly could say there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about it. But there's a lot of commitment that comes with it. And so, I don't know. I'm not saying you'll never not see me in there again, but I will. But I do know I do love this side of things. I absolutely loved being on, on this end. And I'm excited to see what I'm hoping that some doors open from this, because I was telling Justin, it's crazy how like you can like just goals and dreams are so crazy. Cause like for the longest time I had one goal and one dream and, and then things kind of change. And then I felt like I didn't really have, really anything that I was focused on. And now I feel like I've got a bunch of new goals and dreams that I'm working on and stuff. Yeah. So it's just cool. It's a cool journey. I love this journey so much.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And you're right. It's funny because you always want to have something that you're aspiring to. If you don't, especially like, being a fighter and Bam, you being a fighter, like when you have those goals that are so intense in your life too, you know what I mean? Like, and you have that target and you have those goals and you have the next fight to plan for or whatever, like when that's gone now and like to be able to refocus, Destiny, that's pretty cool for you. And I do want to say the event that you did, that was their first event, right? For All Hearts promotion. So the thing is too, you don't want to miss that because you want to be the girl now. You know what I mean? Like you want to be able to be that face now and like lock that in. If you had pulled out in either of the responsibilities, the commentator or the announcer, and that next person gets it, well, guess who's showing up for number 2?
Exactly.
Right?
And yeah, I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to, because like the thing is, it was like, well, one, obviously I didn't want to let All Hearts down at all. I love everybody behind All Heart. But yeah, I was like, if I pull out, like, who knows if this opportunity for anybody would ever come again, So
right. Yep.
So yeah, I was like, no, this is not happening. I'm making this happen. And, I mean, I do think doors are going to open. Even the referee, Artie and Chuka, him and I obviously, in the ring together a lot. And we just, in between, the fights and stuff, we were talking, and he's actually going to be hosting his own show. And he was like, got my contact information, said he would like to, maybe see about working with me. So doors could be opening, that's great. Yeah. And then Jason and Monica DiCarlo, they already asked me to come back for the second show, June 22nd.
Very cool.
And I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited. That's going to actually be at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, which is my hometown. So that's going to be awesome. I've actually fought there. So everything's just full circle. I love it.
Very cool. Now, you guys might have already talked about this, but how did you, like, you fighter, BJJ competitor, commentator, what made you want to take the step to be announcer? Like, do you do some singing on the back? Did you practice? Did you just like, I think I might be good at this?
No, actually, complete opposite. Jason had told me that he was going to be doing his first show, and I was like, oh, awesome. Well, anything you need, let me know. I'd love to be a part of it. Cause like, we kind of talked about it before last time me and Timmy got together, but Jason DiCarlo, so All Heart Promotions, his gym is All Heart Boxing. And I used to go and spar at his gym, 11 years ago. He opened his doors open to me to go and get work, with a lot of his fighters. And so he's supported my career for the longest time. And so I was, I offered my support, and then he had called and asked if I would be his announcer. And I was thinking more like commentary, but I was like, but sure. Like, I don't think I have the voice for it, but I mean, I'm down. I'm always up to it. I was up to trying something new, And then once I started practicing and rehearsing, I was like, okay, maybe I do got this. And then when I would practice, like, to my mom or whatever, like they were impressed. And I was like finding my voice and finding like how, because you have to like drag things out and stuff. It's almost like it's not who, I can't remember who I was speaking to. Mackenzie, she does some commentating and announcing and stuff for the UFC and interviews, but she was like, it's almost like singing, and it is in a sense. So never thought about it, never considered it, but now I feel like maybe I found my calling.
That's awesome.
Well, that's amazing. Now, did you, I asked you this before, did you figure out what your hook was going to be? Like, you can't go, it's time. You can't do, like, what was your thing that you said? Did you figure it out? And that you can still work on it in the next show and the next show and the next show until you figure out like what works for you. But what did you go with?
That night I went with, and I don't know, it sounds silly kind of, but I went with, let's get it on.
Nice.
That's all right.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's good.
Well, we're working on it. It's a work in progress.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Hey, look, the thing about this, right? As a fighter, as a competitor, and hopefully everybody in life, you're always trying to get better, right? So absolutely. I do want to ask you, as happy as you are, as proud of you as you are from what you did, what is the biggest thing that you're like, okay, I need to do better here? Or what was the biggest learning lesson from the night?
Oh, I was actually going to ask kind of the same thing. Like, was there any hiccups or anything like that you can learn off of? So
yeah,
there was.
Perfect. Yeah.
There wasn't too many hiccups, honestly. I'd say the first fight, I like had forgotten some like I forgot like my paper of interview questions. I left that going into after the first fight, and so thankfully there was some time in between, and I was able to have my commentary partner hand it over to me. But then there was when I went to announce the winner, I like just the first fight. If you watch the pay-per-view or whatever, there's like a really small pause because for a second I like didn't know which I couldn't say his name right at first. I was like, Jesus Marin, like it just kind of came out slow. So there was that. And then my interview questions, there was like some questions that some different questions I wish I had asked, like in hindsight, or even there was a really great fight, which in my opinion, fight of the night, and I think a lot of others as well. It was Isaiah Rodriguez and Mauro Gutierrez, and Mauro comes from an MMA background, and it was his pro boxing debut, but he ended up losing. But it was an amazing fight, and I wish I would have actually interviewed him as well, even though he lost. I kind of wish I would have interviewed him as well. So, like, that's going to be a thought in my mind, like, just to, I can do that if I want to do that, It doesn't have to be so, like, scripted or seem so scripted, I can only interview the winner. So I wish I would have given him a chance to talk because I think he could have said some good things about his debut and having such an amazing fight,
Yeah, especially for a fight of the night kind of performance.
It really was.
Definitely, yeah.
And it's a hard one, and that's hard to even score because everybody's fight was amazing. Honestly, there was some bangers. Yeah, nice. I was really impressed with the matchmaking that Monica DiCarlo did. Yeah.
Just don't pull a Joe Rogan while some guy's lying dead on the ground and you go with the mic. How do you
say something?
Anybody you want to thank for this?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: it's always better to prepare too much and have more notes than you need or have more stuff than you need, right? And then miss it. Because even for myself, I always feel like that, Bam. Like a lot of times, like I'll have so much notes, right, on things that I want to say or people that I want to be able to tell their story or something like that. And sometimes you don't get to it. I mean, the fight can be over in a heartbeat. And in that case, you don't get to say nothing, right?
Yeah.
One fight I commentated, I was finishing the sponsor read and the guy got knocked out. And I was like, oh, well, that's it.
Yeah.
Like that was it. So, I mean, it's always good to do that. Here's a question for you, Destiny. This has happened to me one time. And my last co-host, Rain Cruz, we would always talk about this. Did anybody fist bump you during the announcing or anything like that? Did you get any fist bumps in the cage?
Like from the fighters?
Yeah. Who else is going to fist bump?
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, I didn't. We shook hands.
Those bastards. What?
We shook hands.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but that was me. Like, after I shook their hand. But no, nobody fist bumped me.
Oh. Look, people at All Hearts Promotions, when Destiny is announcing you, or she's calling you as the winner or whatever, man, go over there and give this girl a fist bump. You know what I'm saying?
There was some I could definitely tell were feeling it though. Like, when you see Bruce Buffer announce and like they get all into it and they're like, the other night, I can't remember who he was announcing.
I know you're talking about. He like got right up in his face.
Like, oh, I love that. But there was like, I want to say it was Elijah Hernandez. Him and I had a little like he felt it.
Feel it.
We had a little energy connection there. So yeah, that was awesome. And I planned like I want to get better and figure out how to get that more, connect with them more,
Nice.
But it was funny when announcing the main event. I got so excited. I like did a little jump. I was like, "Who's ready for the main event?" And I like jumped off my feet. I was like, in my head, I was like, "Did I just do that?"
That's good. Look, that's one thing. I had the opportunity to commentate one time with John Morgan. Right, legendary John Morgan, MMA announcer. You know who I'm talking about? Just pretend you do if you don't know.
Okay.
He's the guy that always gets. He's the guy that always gets the first question at the UFC events. He's been with the MMA media forever. So I got to commentate one event with him, and what I learned from him, similar to what you're saying with the jumping thing, almost every fight, it's got to be like every fight, multiple times in the fight, he's standing up out of his seat as he's commentating. He's like so animated. And like, I'm like, holy crap. Like I can learn from that so much because it just adds so much energy to his voice. You know what I mean? It like it sends that passion. It makes you into it. And I find that too, like sometimes I feel like it takes you a second to warm up. Like you said, like the first one or whatever, and it takes you a little bit and you warm up. If you can energize yourself even more, I feel like, that like really like adds to the show. So I really appreciate learning from him about that.
By the main event, I was hyped and I was just having the time of my life. And we just had that banger of the fight of the night. You know what I mean?
That was the co-main?
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, and so going into the main event, I was just like, who's ready for this main event showdown? Like, let's go. Like, I was like, wow, guys, are you seeing these fights? Like, are you having as much fun as I am? Because yeah, it was amazing, and it was a great crowd too. The place was packed.
Nice.
Wow. Well, that's great for our first event too.
No, exactly. I was just so impressed by All Heart. Honestly, you don't see that too often.
I do have a question. Did you have any trouble, like, had to ask anybody how to like pronounce their name or anything? That would be that's what I'd be scared of most. Is like,
I still don't know how to pronounce Brian's last name. So
yes, actually, so that was for the weigh-ins. That was kind of like that was my task for the weigh-ins. Like I had a list of people whose names I wasn't sure of, and actually the first fight of the night, Jesus Marin. Sorry, I sound clogged, but still a little sick. But Jesus Marin, he won that night, and I asked him. I said, because it's spelled Marin, like Marin or Marin. So I was like, how do you like it pronounced? Marin, And he's like, either or. And I was like, well, either or, like, what is it? How do you like it? And he was all Marin. I go, Marin, Marin, and Marin are not the same. Like, I was like, thank you for telling me. I want to do it right for you, So yeah, glad I asked him. Another guy, his last name was like, it looks like Mises, but it's pronounced Jesus. So I'm glad. He had a really great fight too. He fought Demetrius Alexander, Slava Mazus. Slava, and I also, the day of the weigh-ins, I wanted to get whoever had a fight name, that they wanted me to pronounce. Slava, I go, so he's telling me how to pronounce his last name, and he goes, I go, what about a fight name? And he goes, yeah, Sexy Man. And I was like, look at him. I go, you really want me to say that? And he goes, yeah, Sexy Man. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But by the time I was announcing him, the crowd was going so wild. Nobody really heard me say "sexy man," but I did it for you.
Yeah, you got to like hush the crowd. Like, get ready for this one. This one's coming.
This is a good one, guys.
You want to hear this? Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah. I was at an event one time. It was like a K1 kickboxing, and I was doing the commentary with same thing. The announcer was going in, and he's like a stand-up comic. And his name was Big Norm. He's a Canadian stand-up comic.
That fits.
And he went in, and there's one guy, something Wang, yeah, and he has no nickname.
I see where this is going.
And he goes, Johnny, I've got a big Wang, and like he just, I'm like, are you allowed to just do that? And the crowd was.
His parents are demoralized.
I feel like fighting is just like there's no rules.
Yeah, it's so funny. But the thing was with that guy, like you could tell he was like you knew he was a comedian because the way he was like doing stuff previously. So the crowd was kind of feeling his vibe too. Like Destiny, like they could feel that this guy was a joker. He kept like I feel like he kept hitting on the ring girls too, like. Every time, like he's like, "Give it up for Susie," and like he looking at the ring, like he's just a funny dude. But that was funny. Don't do that, Jesse. Don't make up sexual nicknames for people. Yeah. No, what was of the whole thing, and like obviously there's a lot here, but in the commentary, I want to ask you because I want to learn a little bit from you on the commentary. What do you think you did best at in the commentary?
So the last time I commentated was MMA, and I mean, obviously I know MMA. I've competed in MMA many times, 10 times. Like I know the sport, but I know, like I told you before on the last time we spoke, I boxing is like, I know boxing.
That's your thing. Yeah.
I understand boxing and I felt like I was able to break it down so well in there, honestly. And then obviously just being there, like I just caught myself. I was like, one point I caught myself and I was like this. Like bright-eyed, happier than ever, watching the craziest fight, blood and sweat, and I was the happiest girl in the world, And so I really felt like I broke it down well. And then my commentary partner, Aaron Garcia Jr. He is up and coming. He's got like 200 something amateur fights. Just started his pro career. He's 5-0. He is. in camp for his sixth professional fight. I think he's 5-0, 5 KOs. I'm pretty sure.
He has 200 fights.
That's
yes, So his dad, Aaron Garcia, has like always been a very well known high level boxing coach, back home in Utah. So makes sense. But yeah, he was awesome. And I actually didn't have a commentary partner. And Jason DeCarlo last minute was like, Aaron, you want to be her partner? And he was like, okay. And him and I did really well together, honestly. Like you have to have chemistry, for it to go well. And him and I had never even met, and we had instant chemistry. Young kid, freaking young gun, 21 years old, and knows the game obviously very well. So him and I had great chemistry. I hope Jason brings him back for the next show with me because we did great together. So I had a blast. The entire thing was a blast, but commentating boxing was so fun to me.
I mean, just so you know, Bam Bam and I are already submitting our resumes though too. So
all right, yeah,
that kid's gonna have competition.
Hey, well, I'm taking all the advice because I've never done commentating.
No? Oh, okay. Oh, it's so fun. I mean, we do it all weekend. We do it every weekend, don't we? On our couch.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Exactly.
I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing too, and I wanted to ask you this. I've been doing this, and I don't know if this is bad to do or whatever, and I don't think it's come off scripted or anything like that, but I've tried to prepare reactions to if all the fighters win on the card. Like, for example, what I mean is, Bam Bam, we had the guy, the Mummy. There's a fighter we had on this show. He fights for Fight League Atlantic, Abdelaziz, the Mummy.
Yeah.
So, for example, I know if he's on the card, I kind of plan like, okay, if he wins, what's like a slogan I could say for him?
Okay.
So, for example, the Mummy wraps it up.
Oh. That's pretty good.
Boom.
I love it.
Okay. Kills in the clubs. So, but if you plan, and what I do is I kind of like, especially because like if someone's like winning their debut fight, or if someone's winning back to back, or if someone, you know what I mean? Like I try and think about like, okay, if this guy wins, what would be something that I could blurt out? Because what I will say is in my first few events, like I have my wife on my cell phone, like texting me during the event. If something's going wrong or whatever, she can't hear me as much. She'll be giving me like live feedback,
That's helpful.
And it's my wife, so she's not going to hold back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like, you're really fucking this up, Tim.
Yeah, bring it up a notch. Come on, man.
Yeah. So there was one. I think it was like one of the early first times that I did it. That I think I said kind of the same thing twice, maybe three times, and she's like, "You already said."
Stop
blah,
saying
blah,
that.
blah.
Tim.
Like
that.
Like that. Like that phrase. And she's like, no, you can't always say the same thing. You know what I mean? Like you got to change it up. So that's what I was working on. Yeah. How did you feel with like the finishing things? Did you feel good with that? That for me was the toughest part.
Yeah, no, I definitely repeated myself in some things, especially the interview questions. I repeated some interview questions. I probably said the same interview question to everybody.
But that's okay. Yeah. Because, well, wait, what was the question?
What can we expect next?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean,
it's okay.
I think that's normal to say to everybody because everyone has a different path. So,
but yeah, like you said, like kind of studying and understanding like what to ask. So like with some of the fighters that hadn't had a win yet, like I had prepared to say like, how does it feel to get your first professional win?
Yeah. There. Yeah. So. And I think like we talked about it as well, because like the job of like the commentator is to really sell the fighters, right? Give them all their shine, give them their moment. And so it's very nice of you because if you can even plan the questions for in the event that they win and those questions are tailored towards them as well, that's really nice because it gives them that moment, to be able to shine even more and think like, what can we expect from you next or what do you want next? That's always a filler one too. Like that's good because also like who knows what the answer to that is.
Yeah. I had like a list of interview questions that I wrote down. So let's see, Wednesday night when I was like feeling really sick, my flight was Thursday or no, maybe it was Tuesday night. Yeah, it was Tuesday night when I started feeling really sick. I was up all night stressing because like my throat was hurting. I couldn't sleep, not because I couldn't sleep, because I was stressing about it. Like I was like, my throat hurts. Yeah. I was up constantly making sure I had cough drops. 5 a.m. I'm like up and I'm like So I freaking just started watching Laura Sanko. Like 5 a.m. I'm watching Laura Sanko interview questions and Megan Olivier and all these questions. And that's literally how from like probably I spent an hour doing that in bed sick at 5 a.m. And yeah, that's how I came up with all my interview questions.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look, there is no right or wrong way to do it. Like it's whatever works for you. But I'm so excited, Destiny. Like I'm so excited for what's next to you. Look, I can tell Bam Bam that this girl has passion. That's the thing, right? Like you have to really want it, and you have to have that energy that's going to come across, right? And like the thing is too, Bam Bam and
definitely got the energy. She's definitely I could feel it already. I could see it.
Yeah,
but it's the passion, the energy in her, and it's also about everything.
And it's the ability to connect. It's the ability to connect over this Zoom too, because there's one thing to be able to connect with someone in person, but to be able to connect with people like over the camera, and that for the role of the announcer and the commentator, when that's the majority of your audience is watching on TV, you have to be able to have that talent. You know what I mean? Or it's not even a talent. It's like you just have to have that, like let me put a few photos of you here, Destiny, in case people see. There you are.
There's the handshake.
Doing the thing.
The handshake.
Is that?
That's a handshake.
Oh, look at that. There you go. Yeah. And there's the fighters in awe of being able to get interviewed by Destiny McCubbin. So that's pretty cool.
And I can say too, like in each interview, we were like connected, we were like eye to eye, and like they were with me, I was with them. Like I could honestly, or at least that's how it felt, I could honestly say when I fight and I'm interviewing, I'm like my mind's not really there, but I felt like these fighters were really tuned into me, and we were actually having a genuine conversation in the interview. So it was nice.
Very cool. Yeah,
very, very nice. I do have it scrolling here on the bottom, because for those listening on audio only, if you want to follow Destiny McCubbin and her path and her career and where she goes from here, it's at Destiny McCubbin, McCubbin, Destiny McCubbin. So follow you there. Instagram is the best place to follow you. You're on TikTok, or
I am on TikTok, just same Destiny McCubbin, and that's really it. Facebook, but that's more so for family.
yeah. Family or old people.
Go older family, exactly. Aunts and uncles.
No one's doing that. Look, I'm so excited for you. I do hope that the doors open for you. I hope that like things happen, and that you're able to get to new places and new experiences, because this is a very cool thing. Some other fan questions. I got to get to some of them. Hold on, I always forget this. Oh, okay. This person wanted to know, what is your name on TikTok? Are you on TikTok?
Yep, Destiny McCubbin.
Destiny McCubbin. All right. So this person, I mean, you didn't even look, because it's very easy. Destiny McCubbin. Do you like Starbucks coffee? Is another question.
I do. I've actually been really into the brown sugar oat milk cortado. It's like a little drink this big. Excuse me, $5. But sorry, guys.
She's dying.
You see what I mean? Still sick. Yeah. But and it's got like 3 shots in it, so it does the job.
Pick me up.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. $5 American. That's like 1,000 Canadian dollars.
Dude, I could not even retell you what the name of it is called.
Brown sugar oat milk cortado.
Brown sugar oat milk cortado. Cortado, and it's just a little thing too.
I'd rather a venti strawberry and cream frappuccino.
All right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what what about live videos? This is Galvez Frodo wants to know, do you do live videos?
I actually don't ever. Just never considered it. I guess I get nervous of people seeing me in real time.
Okay. All right. But, and another question I had is, do you have your own podcast? This son of a gun writes into my podcast page to ask if you can do a podcast. You son of a bitch.
Just come on our podcast. If she has one, though, she plugs it.
Yeah.
No, I don't. But I've actually thought about it. I've thought about it a lot. I've thought about doing like a fight podcast, or just like a life podcast, a lifestyle podcast, where I'd bring probably fighters, all athletes, all people of all different careers and stuff. I've thought about it. I really have.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, you should definitely do it. And again,
then I'll have you on my podcast.
There you go.
I would love it. Brian can come on your podcast. I met Brian because of this podcast. Really? Yeah. Right? Like that's, I mean, I knew him on Instagram before, but we became friends
Isn't that awesome?
From him coming on this show.
Met in person?
Not yet.
No. We all got to meet in person.
He lives.
I say we all plan to go to like a big UFC event this year. We'll all meet.
Well, look, that would be the dream, especially when Canada becomes the 51st state. Travel will be so much easier.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean? I can't wait for that. One of my really good friends, Robin, she's also Robin Dunn. She's also a female MMA fighter. She lives in Canada, and it's just been. She's actually here right now, but it has been a hassle for her to get over here. They made it really hard.
I've been to Canada once, but Timmy B didn't come see me. And I fought
there.
I
remember. I want to go out there too.
That's
right. I don't think I knew you then.
Yeah. No, it's been terrible. But yeah, we got to make that happen. Like, definitely. I do want to do I want to work with Bam Bam. That's what I'm saying. I want to work with Bam Bam. I want to work with Destiny. Like, you got to work with like cool people and like get like good experiences, right? I mean, that's the dream, before this whole thing is over. Destiny, are you okay to stick around for a little bit longer?
Absolutely,
You're okay? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. I just want to talk about a few things. Oh, I didn't ask my last question. I'll ask it at the end, I guess. Bam. I'll ask her later. But
whenever you gotta go, he'll ask.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm feeling
here's something, Bam Bam, that okay, well, hey, talking about UFC coming to Canada, or if it's still called Canada, I don't know. But boom. This is a fight that is so interesting to me, Bam Bam, because there's Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radke, and he's fighting former guest of the podcast and Canadian hero Mike Malott.
I didn't realize you had Malott on the podcast.
I had Malott on the podcast a while ago. He's a good dude.
I was going to say, he seems like a good dude.
Seems like a good dude. But boy, oh boy, now this is where I'm conflicted, you see, because as a Canadian,
Chuck Buffalo's blown Timmy off about 3 times.
3,000 times.
3,000 times. Like, I'm coming on the podcast. Boop. Doesn't show.
Look, he says he's coming on before this fight. This son of a bitch, right? Chuck Buffalo.
Watch it, Chuck Buffalo. You need to come on the podcast.
Yeah. I want him on the spot. Look, this guy is going to be a problem in front of the Canadian fans, because we all know what he has said to the fans before, how he reacts to people. If you follow him on Instagram, he is relentless. Like, they're like no filter. This guy is a very funny dude, He
says what's on his mind.
Yeah. And what's on all of our minds sometimes, but he's a bad dude. And like that fight against Mike Malott, that is a very interesting fight, because Charles Radke is on a tear. He's a bad dude. And Mike Malott, I think, is coming off a loss, right? Hold on.
I thought he won his last one.
No, he won in Canada, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Pretty sure.
Was it the one prior to that he lost? Maybe it was the one prior to that.
Pretty sure the last show in Canada.
Yes. Okay, right. He won in Edmonton, but he lost in Toronto.
They always win in Canada. Those Canadian fighters, when they're home, they always win.
But he lost in Toronto to Neil Magny. That was the one that was like kind of disappointing. But then, yes, he rebounded. Right. So now he's fighting again in Canada. But this is not a gimme. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times when it's the hometown favorite, they give him a little bit of a layup.
Yeah,
sometimes.
True.
Chuck Buffalo is an angry dude. So that's an interesting fight. We talk about the 12-6 elbows, Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said to Bam Bam, I've said to other fighters, it's interesting because you don't see the 12-6 elbow too much. This past weekend, though, I do want to give a huge shout out to this man, Gene Silva. Oof. If you watch that fight,
goes to the body with it.
Dude, the way he ended that fight with the 12-6 elbows down into the rib cage of his opponent.
Yeah. And honestly, I thought that was being the nicer side of him. Like, because he stood over the dude because he stood over the dude for a couple seconds, wanted the ref to step in because he had dropped the dude, and the dude was kind of like turtled up.
Yeah.
And the ref's like, no, keep fighting. So he just like came down and just started elbowing him in the ribs instead of like hitting him in the head, or,
Yeah.
He didn't want to continue to like beat him up or whatever. I mean, you say that, but then 12-6 elbows to the rib cage doesn't feel good. But it's better, like I'm saying.
It's not brain damage.
Yeah, exactly. It's not better than him just like raining down these elbows or even big punches to the head. So
right.
But what I'm saying is, finally, the 12-6 elbow gets a decisive stoppage victory. And I feel like the more, Destiny, here's the thing, because you're training out at Syndicate MMA.
Mm-hmm.
you know, all the times that people are training on the bags and they're hitting it like that. You know what I mean? Like with the regular elbows. But now you got to be training this way. The minute you get on top of someone, to throw 12-6, split the guard, like, and that, I swear, if you're a referee and you see someone just raining down 12-6 elbows, that's got to impact you to stop that fight way quicker than if it was different elbows or punches. You know what I mean?
That's definitely causing cuts. That's gonna, you know, bring some cuts.
It's just breaking ribs, puncturing the lung. Like,
it was savage.
Terrible.
Savagery.
Next thing I want to talk about very quick. Bam Bam, you said you might know about this. Boom. No more UFC double champs.
Really?
Ilya, no, this is because Ilya Topuria is going up to fight Islam.
Yeah.
Going up to fight Islam. And then Diego Lopez says that the UFC has said that you cannot do that anymore without vacating your title, which is interesting because you have to vacate it before you even fight. It's not when you win. This is what I'm confused at. Like, what if he loses? He still gave up his belt for the opportunity. Bam Bam.
But he's staying at 55 because he's not making the cut anymore. So what I seen about the double champ thing was actually an interview. Someone asked Dana. It was a short clip, and he was just saying that like they're not against it, but you know, you got to be defending your belt and stuff first, and then like if there's opportunity, a big enough fight that makes sense, and it wants to be and it, you know, both guys want it and it makes sense and stuff, they will still do double champ. But also like Topuria is moving up, he's not coming back down. He doesn't want to cut anymore. He's pretty much wiped out the division, pretty much like the who's of the division he's handled, and so he's making a full-time move to 55.
Destiny, your thoughts? Do you like double champs? Do you not like this rule? Would you like to see double champs?
I mean, I guess I kind of like the rule. Like, why not change it up, you know?
I mean, the thing is,
I like it. I like the rule, the new rule. Like, I like that they're not allowing it, because I feel like you get a double champ and then one belt's on hold. Like,
of course,
you have contenders coming up, and then that like interim belts that never get to become real title belts, or you know, because the person, or they end up just fighting with their interim belt for the real belt with some person who wasn't the champ, because the person's like, you know what, I'm not coming back down or coming back up or whatever. So I feel like it opens it up so things aren't on hold. Yeah. And if they want it, they gotta vacate.
But that does mean you have to vacate it, and then what if you lose?
That's what that's what I'm saying.
In his situation, it's different because he's just done with the weight class. But if you're not, that does kind of suck.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, and that's where I want some clarification on this, because I think it should be that when you win the other title, then you vacate. Because if you go up and you lose, you should be able to go back to your weight class and say, okay, well, I'm still the champion.
I'm still the champion here.
Here's the other reason, because you want to be able to market that fight as champ versus champ.
Yeah. So I kind of got that reading from Dana, like that, you know, that's still kind of open, and you know, if the guy's going to come back and like defend his, like continue to defend the weight class and stuff like that. But like in this circumstances, it's like he's not gonna come back down. So
yeah. But still, you got.
Yeah, I mean, the champ versus champ is a big sell, right? You don't want to say like the former
don't strip them yet. Don't give it up yet.
Champ and the champ. Yeah,
it's different, because even if you're Ilya, you got to think like, okay, I know I'm gonna give it up. Hey, UFC, don't worry, I'm gonna give it up. But let me just go into this as the champion so that it looks better for all of us. Both belts are on the stage, both belts at the press conference, right? Like, it would look a lot better. Then here's the thing. Let's say Ilya wins, at least for that one moment in time, for one day, he can hold both belts.
Then he goes to the press conference. Yep, it goes to press conference.
I'm champ. Tomorrow I will vacate. But at least you'd be able to have it for that one moment. So I just feel like, you know, I know Dana White watches this podcast. That's the rule that we have to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. There you go. Okay. That's the rule. Speaking of double champs, then we get to this guy, Triple C, champ. Did you guys watch this fight?
I did.
Okay. I don't like this. I posted this. Song gains nothing by accepting a rematch. He needs to move on. It's unfortunate for Triple C, but that's what makes sense. Destiny, going to you first. Does Song give this guy a rematch?
I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. Maybe he doesn't gain anything, but I feel like he was winning the fight. He was dictating the pace. But that was a nasty poke. So does he? I guess he doesn't owe him anything, but I don't know. I feel like probably the sportsman in him would like want to do it. But I get what you're saying. On a business side, there's no reason.
Yeah. I feel like you take that win. It wasn't a no contest, right? It wasn't a DQ. It wasn't anything like that. It was a win. The win is the win. They scored that fight. You got to move on, dude. You got to go get that title. You got to do whatever it is next to get to the title. And fighting Triple C again, I don't know. Bam Bam?
Yeah, I think, I kind of agree with Destiny. Is like, that's the fighter in him, like the good person in him. He wants to win fairly. Yes, it went to a scorecard, and yes, he was winning, but he wanted to win definitively. Like in his mind, he was finishing him in the 4th, 5th round. Like he wasn't making it to a decision. So
the respect of the martial artist.
Yeah, the respect and all that. On the other note, I don't think the rematch happens. I don't think the UFC. I think the UFC wants to see him progress, and don't want to see him fight again. But I think also maybe his coaches and team, like as much as they understand where he's coming from, I think they think like there's a bigger opportunity out there after getting this win. And the fact that it did go to scorecards like that, but I could see him arguing for like, no, I want to do this. I definitely would.
Wait, who's going to argue I want to do this?
Yeah. I want to fight back. Like I'm gonna finish him this
I'm gonna put a nail in the coffin.
Yeah, exactly. Like I could definitely.
You can do that
the same way.
Go do that when you have the belt. Give Cejudo a rematch
when you have the belt. You know what I mean? Like
no, but I mean because like right now you just beat Triple C.
Yeah.
Your next fight's probably for the title if you ignore this. So go get that title and then go fight Triple C in a rematch.
And in his eyes, though, it's like he just beat him, but he almost like it wasn't a win kind of thing. Like in his eyes, I can, like it was stopped because of the poke, and like you don't really go off like, oh well, I won because the judges were scoring it or whatever. It's like no, like I wanted to beat him in the 5 rounds. I wanted to finish him or win that 5-round decision and show that I won every round or whatever. I can see that. So.
Yeah, at first I was kind of like, is he really that bad? Is it?
Yeah.
Why is he's announcing it so like he's like not like repeating it over and over? I can't see, knowing that is going to stop the fight, you know. And I get it. Like, it's good that he did, obviously, because like he said, like that man will hurt me if I can't see,
Yeah.
It's good he's like obviously able to recognize that and like put his ego aside to keep fighting,
Good on him, because I wouldn't have.
A lot of fighters won't.
Yeah.
And I think that's just him being so high level and experienced. Probably been here before, maybe, and understanding like that's a smart thing. Like a lot of fighters won't even take their whole 5 minutes. And like a lot of people were booing and stuff, but they get 5 minutes. What are you booing for? That is the what they get. And honestly, a lot of fighters probably should take more time than they do, but they just want to fight. The ego in them wants them to fight. But you should probably, recover more. You have the time, do it.
Yeah.
Destiny said a few things.
They're not the one fighting.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can I? Okay, hold on. Before we go on with this, and I'm going to go back to something Destiny said about the poke maybe not being that bad. What I thought was really funny was when the two fighters came out at the beginning, the crowd was booing the crap out of Song. Because, of course, he's representing China, and then you're fighting an American, right? So we're going to boo the away guy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that was funny. But then when Cejudo comes out, because everybody doesn't like him, they were booing him too. So I thought that was really funny that the crowd was just like, well, we just both don't like either of these guys. Like, who cares? But then the crowd turned around and they were very happy with the fight. So,
but
Destiny,
then
I
also
do want.
like you see how like Henry was upset with the decision. So like, did you think you won up to the 3 rounds?
Hold on. Let me get to that in a second. Let me first go to the thing I want to ask you, because you said, well, the poke wasn't that bad, right? I do want to say, I don't think I've ever seen a poke that has been this acted. There were a lot of posts right away saying that he's the new Aljamain Sterling with the acting and stuff like that. Destiny, you called it out there. I cannot see. Like he was saying it so that the world
He wanted
could hear.
everybody. Yeah.
There was no way
he wanted that
he was
fight to
hiding
stop.
that. Okay. But hold on, Bam Bam. I know you're the guy here, but give me one last second here. This is from the couch from this idiot. I've also never seen anyone get poked in the eye and have both eyes wide open the whole time. I cannot see. I can't like no. Normally when people get poked, they're like squinting or they're like like can barely open their eye. He was like wide-eyed open. I get that it might be blurry and stuff, but he wasn't giving me the body language that he was truly hurt from a poked eye. And here's the thing, last thing before I go to Bam Bam. Almost every year on this podcast, Destiny, I have the world's #1 body language expert. He's on Dr. Phil's channel. He's on a show called something, I forget, The Behavior Panel. His name is Mark Bowden. He's the world's #1 body language expert. Next time I have him on, I'm showing him all the clips of Triple C and going like, what do you see from this? Is this lying behavior? And I'm so excited to see that. Bam Bam, remind me of that. But Bam Bam, go ahead. The legitimacy of this poke.
So you watch back the replay. It's like, yeah, it was a bad poke, and it kind of got in both of his eyes. Honestly, probably the one a lot worse. But honestly, I was with you on when he's taking a lot of time. I'm like, okay, he's taking time, smart, and maybe he's kind of like building up for the next, when he's gonna start again. But it seemed kind of like he was putting it off, like almost deciding, like, okay, should I end it now or like what's going to happen or whatever. But like you said, he had his eyes wide open. He kept wiping them and stuff, but they were like wide open. And it seemed like he was kind of trying to figure out how much time's left in the round. What should I do? Do I let it be a DQ? Do I try to move on? Mm-hmm. What is it going to do? Trying to make that decision. Honestly, that's just how I felt. It was coming off. And then, the round starts and they go and he's running around trying to just escape from them or whatever, whether that be like, the fight to end the round and get out and then end the fight or whatever, or he really couldn't see. But as soon as the round ended, it was like you said, he was shouting, I can't see, like so loud from the very beginning, from the moment the round stopped.
Knowing that you can't say that. They're going to stop.
Yeah. And so it's like, I honestly think either he thought he was up on the cards or he thought it was going to be a DQ and or a no contest. I think he didn't know if it'd be a DQ or no contest. So he didn't want it to be a no contest. And so he thought he was up on the cards. So he went to a scorecard. After 3 rounds, they judge it. But he did have damage of the eye.
He did. He posted that he posted the damage.
Yeah. How do we know he didn't poke himself in the eye afterwards?
Yeah, and like I don't know. I've seen people take worse pokes and keep fighting. So I don't know.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Destiny, and I'm so glad. Destiny's very cool, Bam Bam. Like I will say that Destiny, you are a very good contender for guest co-host of the week when Bam Bam bails on me if he's ever busy. Okay.
Perfect. I love it.
So here's the thing. What we do on the show. I'm not kicking Bam Bam out for you. I'm just saying if Bam Bam's busy.
If he's ever sick or something,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Don't accept any mail from Destiny McCubbin tomorrow, Bam Bam. It's like she's gonna cough in an envelope.
Bring some flowers.
So here's the thing. This is something we do on the show. We don't do it all the time, but actually quite a bit we do. Timmy B's conspiracy of the week. Okay. Here's my thing, Bam Bam. This is my conspiracy of the week, and I believe this to be true, man. He knew, okay, Triple C, he does all his breakdowns. He's a student of the game. That's what he prides himself on, right? Of like breaking down fights and doing all this. And he's very studious. And I feel like if you're a professional Triple C champ level, like he knows what to do. Okay. I did reach out to Judge Mike Bell, who's a UFC judge. He's also a referee. And I confirmed with him. I said, hey man, I just want to make sure, at what point would the fight go to the judge's scorecard versus being a DQ versus against the foul giver or a no contest? And he agreed. He said, yeah, it has to go past the halfway mark.
Yep.
He said in the ABC rules, it has to be the majority of rounds have to be completed. So once the third round of a 5-round fight is done, that's when you go to the scorecard. I did say, like, well, what about like the 2-minute and 50-second mark of the third round? Like, what if it passed that and it's the true halfway mark, right? He goes, sometimes depends on the decision. I said, how do you make sure that how do you know whether it's going to be a no contest or a DQ? Because if he had stopped when the eye poke happened, how does he know whether it's going to be a DQ win for him or a no contest?
That's
and
awesome,
then and now that depends on whether the ref deems the foul to be accidental or intentional, whether there's been multiple fouls before, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of referee's decision. Okay. So here's my conspiracy of the week. Cejudo thought he was winning the fight.
Yeah.
I think Cejudo thought he had won at least 2 of the 3 rounds. And he played it out to finish that third round so that he could then call it and hopefully get the win. And I think that's what he was doing, man. 100,000,000%.
And it took him 5 minutes to come up with that plan in his mind. That's why he waited until 15 seconds.
Yeah. And I think he's very strategic. He's very smart. We know this about him. And I think
he's like, really I gotta have the fight won. I got poked in the eye. It stopped. I could have the fight won.
Yeah.
Not have to fight the other 2 rounds.
And we know he only has so few fights left on his contract, right? Yeah. So if I can gamble here and potentially get the win on this, I'd rather get the win because he knew they were not going to DQ Song. It was the first eye poke of the fight. So he's not getting DQ'd. It would go to a no contest. He doesn't want the no contest. He wants to beat this guy. He's only got so few fights left. I think he's 38 years old.
Yeah.
That's my conspiracy of the week. And there's no one could ever convince me otherwise of that. And I'm not saying because he's a bad guy or anything, because it's just the rules of the sport.
Did you guys have him winning the fight up until that?
I was really close.
There were some close ones, I thought.
I thought, but I still thought, I thought that Song was edgy.
I thought that when they went to the decision, I thought Song was going to get it.
For sure.
But I was because they kept showing people's Twitter posts saying that Song was up 2-0 and blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, oh, and every time I saw that, I was like, oh, I don't know. I feel like it could be 1-1.
It's a game of inches. And I think
close.
Henry was just, barely behind. Barely, but.
Yeah. And then when you see that 2 judges gave him 1 round, that means it was so close, because if those 2 judges had given him 1 more, that would have been it for him, and like he would have won. So very, very interesting. But I thought it was very weird the way he was like, I cannot see, like announcing it over and over again with wide-eyed open eyes, no tearing.
And when you say that, the tearing and stuff, like I've been poked in the eyes, and you get sensitive.
Can't help but blink. Yeah,
it's sensitive to brightness. Like the tears burn. So you're just like, So I didn't think about that. That's a good observation.
I don't know. Very strange. Bam, Bam. What we're gonna do next week? We're gonna get people to come in and poke us in the eye. And we're gonna see our live reaction.
I've been poked bad in the eye.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
Sucks. No, it sucks.
Yeah, terrible. Anyways. That looks like it's going to be our show. We've already insulted as many fighters as we could.
And then I have all these opinions and stuff, and I always bring myself back to, okay, well, Destiny, he is in the UFC, Henry Cejudo, so you really don't have a say on shit, but
you can voice your opinion.
Yeah.
You can voice your opinion.
I'm like,
this isn't Germany. You can say whatever you want. You're not going to throw you in jail.
Again, I've seen crazy eye pokes. Crazy.
But yes, I mean, I've been in that positions like that too, and everything. Still, it was weird. It looked like he was figuring it out and thinking through it during that rest time, and came to the conclusion that, like, yeah, at the end of this round, I'm gonna be vocal about, like, I can't see, and the fight's gonna end. It's gonna go to scorecards.
Yeah,
it just seemed like that. Now
I'm gonna make sure I finish this round. Because he said, how much time do I have left in the round? Like, he was trying to figure out how much time do I have to live, like survive this round to make it to past the halfway. Then I can do it. And like, it just seemed, and right away, if you saw, when the ref came to him the very first time after being poked, he said, "Are you going to give him are you going to take away a point?"
Yeah.
And the commentators discussed that too, saying like, "Oh, Triple C's trying to influence the judge." Whatever, that's fine. You do whatever you want. But it's like right away there was all the thoughts over like, how can I get this? How can I win this? And because he's so studious, that's my thing. Because he's a guy that puts him out there as being like such a student of the game and such a smart guy, I can't help but think.
Can't take it. Can't take it past him.
No.
Things that make you go,
Yeah. So that's going to be the title for this podcast. Is going to be Destiny McCubbin believes Triple C is a liar.
He's a liar. No.
But
get
didn't want to say.
Baby. No. Yeah. Get the clicks. Destiny, before this show is over, I want to give you the chance. Is there anything that you want to say to the fans, viewers, and listeners before we end this?
Just thank you for supporting my entire, career, from fighting to, for competing to commentating to announcing, and just keep your eyes peeled and stay tuned, because I feel like some big doors are going to be opening, and you're going to be seeing me around.
That's it. Yeah. Keep working at that craft.
Before we say
thank you for having me on here, by the way. Thank you guys.
Of course. And before we say our goodbyes, Timmy's got to ask you the question.
Oh, yeah.
Final question.
I do. Yeah, final question. I think I didn't ask this to you before, Destiny, when we first met, so I'm going to ask it to you now. It's a question that I ask almost every guest that comes on the podcast. It's a question my mom used to ask me almost every day of my life growing up. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
12.
Oh,
yeah.
And why? What's going on?
I feel like there was a time, like a little bit of time, where I was just kind of living and going through the motions. I didn't really have like a goal that I was really, I was just getting up and going to work and just living, but not really living. And now I feel like I have new goals and dreams and like things that I'm working towards and pursuing. And I think that just, and then also like, it's been a busy, like I competed again recently. I've been back in the gym, like, faithfully full time again. It's been awesome. Just there's so many good things going on in my life right now with my training, and now these new doors opening, the announcing and stuff. So yeah, things are just really good. I feel like 2025 is the year.
Exciting times.
Yeah,
that's it. Killing it.
Yeah, it's been great talking with you, Destiny. I really appreciate you coming on.
You too.
I know you and Timmy had talked before, but it was great to get to know you and hear your story and your journey.
And
thanks for hanging out. Yeah. I fought for the UFC. No longer with the UFC.
Wait, you don't know who Bam Bam is?
People don't know.
Now should we pull up some? I'm sure I do.
Oh my God! If you want the best time of your life, you watch Bam Bam versus Matt Brown, and then you watch Bam Bam versus Robbie Lawler.
Oh,
two of the great. And if you hate Sage Northcutt, go watch Bam Bam versus Sage Northcutt.
Okay. So something funny about Robbie Lawler. We were at these fights out here, it's a new promotion out here in Vegas, Baracco. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I've not.
It's a brand new show. They just had their first show. Their second one is coming up in March. But anyway, they were saying that they were going to have Robbie Lawler there as like a meet and greet. And the whole day before, I was like, I just really hope I meet Robbie Lawler, guys. I want to meet Robbie Lawler. And they were like sitting there, standing like at the doors of the fights, and here comes walking Robbie, and I'm all, Robbie, my guy, come here, man, come here. Like I knew him, like I've known him for 10 years. And he's just looking at me, and I'm like, what's up, man? I give him a hug, and he's just like, what's up? I was like, I've been looking forward to meeting you for the last 48 hours. And he's all, well, let's get a picture. I was like, okay, but yeah, it was awesome.
He's a good dude. I'm a huge.
That's
Robbie
so cool.
fan.
You were able to, that's awesome.
Throw down with him.
Go watch that fight right now, Destiny.
And I gotta follow you. Bam.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, got to up our followers, Bam Bam.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Look, Destiny, absolute pleasure to meet you. We will talk again. Look, anytime you have something that you want to promote or whatever, please come on, because like obviously we know that it's going to be a good conversation. Bam Bam, we're not gonna, and here's the thing, stupid Chuck Buffalo, he might not show up, so we always
so be ready. We might call you last minute.
Hey, Chuck did a show. Can you jump on? I'm there.
No, this dude is coming on. This dude is coming on because he's promised far too many times. So.
Definitely. If something comes up in the meantime, I'll let you know. But for sure, the next show for All Heart is June 21st. So we'll for sure do something for that.
That's awesome. Right. That's right. Good luck. Keep kicking ass. Keep doing your thing. Keep progressing and keep doing everything that you do. Thank you so much, guys. That is it for the show. You're gonna see some other podcasts that you can click on right now. Aside from that, make sure you follow Destiny McCubbin. Make sure you follow Bam Bam, UFC veteran Bam Bam Barberina, and then follow me. Tell all your friends about this show, and we'll see you guys later. Thank you, Destiny.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Bye guys.